What's going on, boys and girls? Arsenal nil, Sporting Lisbon nil, but we advanced to the Champions League semi-final 1-0 on aggregate over the two legs. And this is the first time in Arsenal's history that we've reached back-to-back Champions League semi-finals. So before I maybe sound a little bit negative, I do just want to give the team and Arteta a round of applause for achieving something that the club hasn't done before. I think we get caught up in the trophy, right? It's all about winning silverware this season, and so it's easy for us to just skip over things like this. And it is an achievement. Is it an achievement that at the end of the season you can be proud of? No, but right now, fair play. You've made another semi-final in the Champions League, so well done, boys. But obviously more to come. Look, where do I start? The last couple of games I've been waking up wanting to see some sort of reaction from Arsenal off the back of a disappointing result and performance, and I still haven't got that. It was nice to see Arsenal look a little bit more lively, a little bit more aggressive, have a little bit more fire in the belly in those first 5 minutes, but then it really kind of dipped down to standard proceedings, and that was disappointing. I knew that going into this game, it was going to be unlikely that Arsenal would come out all guns blazing, because at the end of the day, they were sitting on a 1-0 lead. So they would have known that they didn't need to go out and take the risks. It was up to Sporting to force Arsenal's hand in that regard. So all in all, despite a promising opening 5 minutes, I thought we were poor. I thought we were poor. Poor in the sense that after what we've gone through over these last 4 games, barring the result in Lisbon, performance-wise, I want to be seeing better going into this massive game against Manchester City on the weekend. And I felt like this was an opportunity for Arsenal maybe to go out and put a kind of confident 2-0, 3-1 type of performance together leading into that City game. But what we left was with a fairly uninspired, somewhat nervy 0-0 against a good Sporting team, but not an incredible team. And it just it has me worried going into the weekend. At no point in this game tonight did I feel like we were going to score a goal. In fact, I think in that first half, we didn't create one genuine chance in that first half, which for me is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. At home, Champions League quarterfinal, off the back of what's been going on with the team, to not create one proper chance in that first half is just not good enough. And I think it's just an indictment of how poor we are playing right now and how bad we are when it comes to going forward. And I was talking to my brother through the game, and he's like, I just can't believe how bad we are. I can't believe how clunky we are. And he's like, I just don't get it. And I'm like, it's really simple. We just don't have much quality that side of the field in the attacking sense. Like, if I look through our team in terms of the somewhat regular starting 11, the only players for me who are standing up and delivering is David Raya, although he's had some pretty shaky moments, and he had more shaky moments in this game. David Raya, the centre-backs, Urian Timber, and Declan Rice. I think outside of that, everyone has been so substandard this season, it's a joke. Or they're just not good enough. And in that first half, the only team that had a proper chance was Sporting Lisbon. I think around the 43rd minute, cross ball in, the number 10, who was, by the way, that number 10 for Sporting Lisbon, what an absolute joke. The amount of times he dived and feigned injury, the most notable one was the one to try and get a penalty off in Capier, which was ridiculous. He hits the post, the outside of the post on the 42nd minute. But that was about the only highlight of that first half. Throughout the game, Eze had a couple of long-distance shots, which were not really troubling the keeper in any way. I think in the 83rd minute, we had a corner from Max Dowman where Trossard headed it onto the back post. And then, again, Sporting Lisbon with probably the best chance of the game in the last seconds of the game. Sporting Lisbon long throw in, bit of confusion, bit of chaos, comes out to the player outside the box and rifles it just past the post, which would have been literally the last kick of the game. So yeah, not an encouraging performance leading into arguably what is probably one of the biggest games in Arsenal's recent history. So right now, I am not sitting here off the back of a comfortable 2-0, 3-0 performance where attack seemed to click a little, players were finding some mojo, and you're kind of walking into that game against City feeling a little bit more confident about things. This was a very kind of disjointed, slow, lethargic type performance from Arsenal that we've become accustomed to. Um, in terms of, if I kind of break down individual performances and where my worries lie, David Raya, I don't know what he's doing on the ball at the moment, but he's doing some silly things on the ball, which is just creating unnecessary moments of panic. And against top sides, we will be punished for those errors by David Raya. So I do want to see those eliminated quick smart. I think right back is becoming an issue. Yuri and Timber, we are missing him massively. I know a lot of people are talking about Saka and Odegaard, but for me, Yuri and Timber is a massive hole in this team. Ben White is just not at the level we need him at, and Mosquera is not the answer at right back. And I think against City, we are going to be found wanting on that right-hand side. So if Yuri and Timber is even 70% ready to go, he's getting thrown in that game, which is maybe crazy, given he hasn't played football for... he hasn't played since pre-Carabao Cup, I don't think. So maybe that is a ridiculous shout, but I'm just really concerned with our right-hand side defence, whether it's Mosquera or Ben White. I just don't think that's the answer right now. It was great to see Nkapie back at left-back. Look, I said in my match reaction to the Bournemouth game that I thought Miles Lewis-Skelly was one of the better players on the field, but there is a big difference between Nkapie and Lewis-Skelly. So it was good to see him back, tenacious, putting his body on the line. I thought Zubimendi, again, it was an improvement, but still too cautious, still too slow, too many backwards passes, too many sideways passes, and just there were a few moments in the game where he got the ball and I'm like, you could go forward here, you could find a forward pass, and he just chose to play the safe option. So I think that's a player who's quite short on confidence at the moment. Declan Rice, I can't tell you how happy I am to see Declan Rice with the armband on, because he is the Arsenal captain in my eyes. He is the Arsenal captain, full stop. Arteta's post-match conference, he alluded to the fact that the last 48 hours have been absolute chaos for the team, and I'm assuming he's putting that down to the amount of injuries, players who are not even probably at 70%, and just the chaos that's coming with this point in the season. Declan Rice, I have no doubt, probably should not have started this match. So for him to put in that sort of kind of performance for 94 minutes, and again, I'm not saying Declan Rice was phenomenal. He wasn't outstanding, but just his willingness to fight and to run and to do all of the small things and be the guy to try and drag us over the line in these types of games, I just applaud him for that, and I'm so proud to have him as my captain and in our team. I thought Madueke, it was another Madueke performance where looked to threaten now and again, but overall just not good enough. Nothing really to show from it, and went off with an injury, which is concerning, because if Saka's out and Madueke's now out, then we're looking at potentially having to start Max Dowman on the weekend against Man City. And look, for most parts of the season, Max Dowman has probably been our best right winger, if you really look at it closely and kind of apply some context to it. In terms of what Max Dowman's done in the small opportunities he's been given, he's looked more impressive than Saka and Madueke. So, but again, that's not a position you want to be in. You don't want to be going into that Man City game with a 16-year-old on the wing. So again, I don't know where Saka's at in terms of recovery, but it would be great to see him on the field against City. Martinelli, look, that was one of his better performances from a sense of workmanlike, work hard, got himself about. But again, his running was poor with the ball. He got the ball pipped off him a number of times. There was one moment where we had a free kick and we completely stuffed it up, and Sporting had a counter-attack, and if it wasn't for Martinelli having the speed to chase back and win the ball back, that would have probably been a goal. So, props to Martinelli for work ethic tonight, but again, lacking quality where it matters from a winger perspective of end product. Gyökeres, just another performance where he's isolated. He's on his own, and all he's really doing is running around like a headless chicken. The one thing I will say about Gyökeres in this game is, on the ball, he is shambolic. He really is. Like, let's call a spade a spade. On the ball, he is diabolical. There were a couple of moments in this game where he's on the ball and he's got a simple pass and he just can't do it. I think in the 46 minutes, so the first 1 or 2 minutes of the second half, there was a moment where I think he got the ball from Eze. Eze ran around him and it was on the edge of the box. And Gyökeres, he just had to kind of sideways tap it into Eze's pass. He passed it behind Eze and it just went out towards the right-hand side of the pitch. Like, just basic stuff. It's just alarming how bad he is on the ball. And I do think that because we're not playing to his preferred way of playing, and we're still trying to play that kind of link-up type play that we used to do with Havertz and Jesus, it's all falling apart because Gyökeres doesn't have the ability to do that link-up play. And so that's a big reason for why that forward three looks so disjointed, because the option to play off Gyökeres is just not there because he can't do it. He can't do it. So I wanted to point that out because I feel like I've given Gyökeres a bit of breathing space in recent weeks. But honestly, on the ball, I would go as far to say that I could probably look better than him on the ball. It's pathetic. In terms of the substitutes, Dowman came on, looked okay, didn't really have many openings. I thought Sporting Lisbon's wing-back kept a pretty close eye on him, put in a few nasty challenges on him as well to kind of keep him in check. Havertz, Jesus, Trossard came on, but again, this is the problem with Arsenal at the moment. Like, no one in that forward line, whether they're starting or off the bench, are really in a place of great form. So you bring on Havertz, Jesus, Trossard, and you expect to see something different. You expect one of them to create something different to what the starting forward line have done, and it's just not happening. You know, Jesus had a few moments. There was one moment late in the game where he kind of spun the defender, came into the box, and he tried to trick the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper thought he was going to cross, and he went for goal and hit the side netting. That could have been a really special goal, but outside of that, you know, Trossard, just nothing to really write home about. And Havertz, again, did more falling over than anything else. So that's my issue right now. Is our defense is okay, but it's not great because we're missing Timber and we've been missing Nkapia, and David Raya's looking a bit weird on the ball. So defensively, we're solid, but we're not incredible. And the reason why that scares me is because our attack is non-existent, which means we're not scoring goals, but we're also not that great defensively. So we're letting in the odd goal or two, which means that we have to also be able to score a couple of goals. And the problem right now is if we concede one goal, I don't see where 2 goals come from. And that's my problem against Manchester City right now, is I just don't see where the goals come from against City. And I do believe that City will score because I don't think our defence is where it was at the beginning of the season. Particularly with Oyuri and Timber on the right. I think whether it's White or Mosquera, and he might have rested White for this game with City in mind, but whether it's White or Mosquera, for me, Doku's having a field day on that left-hand side. And I think City will score at least 1 goal. And so then we have to look at our side and say, right, who in our team is going to get that goal? Who's going to create those moments? Even those chances, we're not even creating chances. Like this game against Sporting tonight, that should have been a game where we created at least 3, 4, 5 clear-cut good chances to score a goal, and we just didn't. And you can put that down to the fact that we had a 1-0 lead and we were just trying to protect it. But against City, sitting back trying to be defensively sound is not going to get us over the line in this game. City will be coming for our neck on the weekend. Can our defence hold up to that? I don't know. Can our attack do what they need to do? I don't feel confident at all. So, yeah, it's great. We're through to the semi-final. We play Atletico Madrid. If you would have given us that at the start of the season, a semi-final against Atletico Madrid, you'd bite your hand off. So, a great night all in all in terms of, on paper, we've made it to the semi-final. I am concerned that we still look very average. And we are now about to go and face arguably the biggest challenge in world football, which is a in-form Manchester City who are in their groove, full of confidence, at home at the business end of the season. I'm going to do another video leading up to this game because I think it warrants a real dissection of what's going to be required and how this game might play out. But for tonight, well done to the boys. You've done the job. You've got through. I know I've been a little bit negative, but fair play. You've made it to the semi-final. Let's applaud you for that. And now all eyes on the weekend. And if you haven't already watched it, I'd check out Declan Rice's post-match interview. I thought that was I liked that interview. You know, he was talking about blocking out all the outside noise and just having a job to do and just embracing the challenge. And I think it's really important that Rice leads this team from here until the end of the season. You know, I think he plays a big role between now and the end of the season in terms of whether we pick up a trophy or not. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.